Little did I know that the website for students.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's genius.
So if you put in My Humboldt and then the next letter is A, I have top Google listing.
And did you do that intentionally?
No. People who they're like, oh, you've been so successful. I would like to list my house. I've had to say no. I have like a hustler spirit. Like I may be all airy and fairy, but when it comes down to stacking cash, bands.
Do you see the tourism, particularly in beautiful southern Humboldt County, growing?
Oh, absolutely.
What's the financial outlook looking like?
The millions by year 6.
Oh. Samantha, thank you for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you on. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking. Gorgeous day we're having out in Arcata.
Yeah, the weather's been really nice.
It's a warm March.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Getting those sun rays is important.
Definitely, yeah. I've been spending a lot of time in the sun. I got a little sunburned. I have this brutal tan.
Oh,
It's kind of going away a little bit, but
Was it yesterday or was it the other day?
the other day
his like half of his face
Yeah,
was
and a half
like
face tan.
tanned, and then the other
Did
half.
you take a nap?
No, it was because I was sitting out in the sun and the way the sun moves over the patio, like this is my patio, and I was sitting facing this way, so the sun goes over it like this, and I was only sitting one way. So then the next day I had to go and sit this way so I can get
Oh
the
yeah,
rest.
you got to rotisserie yourself a little.
And like at the beginning of the podcast, it wasn't that bad, but by the end of it, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
like,
Thankfully,
I
the
can't wait
lighting.
to see that podcast.
Yeah, thankfully for the lighting, the lighting made it to where you can't notice.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, we want to get into a little bit of your background, like where you came from, where you started, how you got here, if you weren't born and raised here. So yeah, what was that like?
So I'm originally from Altadena, California. So Pasadena, that area. I lived there till I was about 17. And then I moved to the Bay Area for college at San Francisco State University and lived in the Bay Area for about 5 years, where I met my first love, first partner, and we welcomed 2 boys into the world. I moved to Humboldt County with our first son in 2001 and never looked back.
Really?
Yeah, and raised, I now have 3 children and a grandson. And so we all reside in Southern Humboldt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really
So
cool.
I love where I live. It's hard to imagine living anywhere else. And so anytime I go to visit family in Southern California, I can't wait to get home. Like after a few days, you get saturated, you know,
Totally.
you start to feel that just kind of other vibe.
Yeah. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San Jose.
Okay.
And at first when I moved up here, I was like, I can't wait to go back to San Jose. But now after living here and like getting connected, getting involved, I'm like, every time I go back to San Jose, I'm like, I can't wait to get back up here. So that's been like a common theme with our guests and with us. Like we all say like, we didn't really think of Humboldt like it was like not the best place to live. But then once we started getting involved and like realizing like this place is actually kind of a gem. Now, whenever we go home, we're like, can't wait to get back. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime it's somewhere like between Willits and Laytonville. It's just like, you just feel like so much closer to nature. And for me in Redway, I'm almost home. So my question to you is, where exactly is the Redwood Curtain? Where is the curtain drawn?
Oh, I would honestly, I would say, yeah, just based
We
off,
might have to-
without research, I would say
When you're
the
at-
Humboldt County line.
You think the Humboldt County line?
Yeah, that's just because I guess I'm still an outsider, so that's what I would,
It definitely includes the Humboldt County line, but like it's from
or maybe Santa Rosa.
the Redwood Curtain is from, and this is my interpretation. Somebody's gonna be like, tell me I have it all wrong.
Yeah, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, what is the Redwood Curtain? I'm going Willits to. I would say you got to go all the way up to Rio Dell.
What, really?
Oh no, no, Garberville. I'm going. Is Garberville too short?
That's way too short. I would assume the Redwood Curtain, if anything, is either from the Humboldt County line or starting like in Healdsburg right after Santa Rosa all the way up to the border. Because Humboldt Mendocino is like kind of like the Wild West.
Right.
Yeah, so.
I guess I think of it like kind of between, like the curtains are drawn a little bit between like Willits and Laytonville, because I always lose signal right there.
Oh, like where it starts?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, just for me, energetically, I always felt like, okay, I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm going up to Garberville, but if you guys want to flame me in the comments, go for it.
Yeah, feel free to flame us.
Feel free. I maybe I deserve it. Maybe I don't know. I'm not from. I'm only in here. This is year 4 in Humboldt for me. So I don't have like this huge understanding. But I've
year 5 for me.
I've immersed myself like very like deeply into the community. So it feels like I've been here for a lot longer. So I'm from Ventura County, and so you're from Pasadena. So I'm familiar with Pasadena. Let's talk about your first jump. Because you just moved on through California.
I just continued to migrate north.
I like that, and I we have a similar path going. So you jump from Pasadena and you go to school in San Francisco. What did you study at San Francisco? Tell me about that experience.
I studied communication and the arts, specifically theater and ceramics, and I was in love with the city. It was really the first city that I absolutely fell in love with. I moved there when I was 17. I graduated a little earlier than my peers, and
same.
I started school when I was 4, so I was always like, a year and a half younger than most people. And then to get that extra push leaving early, I was, a kid in the city. So I had a great place, great experience. And some of my first skills of what we now refer to as manifesting appeared when I arrived in San Francisco, because I didn't have a place to stay. I was staying with friends of family, and I just put out to the universe, I want to live in the Haight-Ashbury. And so the following day, I met a fellow student who was desperate to find a roommate in the Haight-Ashbury.
Really?
Really?
Whoa.
Like the very next day.
That's so interesting.
And she always wanted a baby sister, and so we totally hit it off, and I moved right in.
Wow. So from our conversations, it seems like you are very spiritual and you follow like manifestation and like putting things out to the universe and things coming back to you. Like, how do you think that's helped you succeed in life?
Great question. So I actually consider myself a surrender practitioner. I know a lot of people use the word manifesting, or magnetizing. And so for me, I always do better when I surrender to the flow and allow opportunities to come to me and through me. And so that's what tends to work best for me. Yes, I will put a intention or a prayer out into the universe, but then I have to not hold it very tightly. I can speak, my intention into being, but it's important that I don't have a strong attachment to it, because sometimes it'll show up in a way that I wasn't expecting. And so I always have to be keen to recognize what face it shows up with.
I've heard some things about that, like on other podcasts that aren't spiritually focused, but like have some of those, like they have a guest or a co-host who is more like spiritual, and like they say like if you ask for like God or the devil to show themselves, it might not be in the way that you want it to be. So that's very interesting. And I don't mean to get super spiritual here, but like what, I guess, like, how, like you not letting it, you're not holding on to it so tightly. So are you okay with like when you want something to happen, but if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world? Or like, how do you go about that?
Well, I mean, you can't always recognize that you're getting the things that you need. And so one of the prayers that I say almost daily, especially over a meal, is thank you for all of my blessings, seen and unseen, and everything in between. Because sometimes we don't know how we're being blessed. We don't know what situation we may have avoided that didn't come into our path. That's a hidden blessing. Sometimes the blessings that we ask to receive are a little more apparent, like getting an amazing flat in the Haight-Ashbury at 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, slowly learning to recognize just how powerful it is to speak things into being, but also remaining humble so that you can recognize when they show up.
Yeah. How has that helped you? Sorry. How has that helped you kind of pave your own path and starting your own business, My Humble Abode?
Okay, so yeah, good segue.
Yeah.
If you look at the business card that I gave you, on the other side, you'll see a picture of Redway Beach.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, he teaches photography, and so he took that picture. A lot of people think it's like AI.
Really? AI? That's insane.
I got that from an editor of a recent publication. But Redway Beach is definitely the hidden gem of Southern Humboldt. And when I first discovered it, I was a single mother, 22, with my first son. My brother and his now wife brought me there. And they were like, hey, Sam, you're here, you're visiting. Let's go to Redway Beach. I'm like, okay. So we go down to the river bar and enjoy swimming and just hanging out. And I kept looking over the fence at these craftsman style little bungalows and houses. And I felt immensely gravitated to that piece of property. And I instantly got a crush on those houses.
Interesting. So you're fresh in Redway and you're coming from San Francisco. That's a big change. Coming from the city hustling and bustling of traffic jams and all the works, to Redway where you got clear skies, no pollution, you got beautiful trees, there's not a tower or something like that in sight. You're so far from the concrete jungle in Redway. Tell me about that change and that adjustment for you and that change in lifestyle.
Well, for me, it was relatively easy because I was always a lover of open spaces. In Altadena, where I grew up right across the street from Eaton Canyon. People now know of it because of the Eaton fire. And so I would spend many hours outside, walking the trails, being outside, and enjoying all that, nature has. And so I was always one of those people, even if I lived in the city, that I would try to escape to the parts of the city that had open spaces. So in San Francisco, it was going to the Bay or to Muir Woods or the Presidio or Ocean Beach or the East Bay, going up to Oakland and riding your bike up in the Oakland Hills. So when I made the jump to come up to Humboldt, I knew that it was the right choice for me. As a single mom, I lost my rent-controlled beautiful house in Oakland, and the only thing that I could find that was the same price were, way, way, way out in the cuts. And I didn't, have reliable transportation, and I had a 1-year-old son. And so when my family said, "Hey, Sam, why don't you come try Humboldt out?" I was like, "Okay, well, we'll see how it goes." And, 25 years later, I've lived here longer than I have anywhere else.
Interesting. So you've always had this strong attachment to nature and the wilderness. And you really found that in Humboldt. Do you ever see yourself being able to live in the city again, or do you see yourself, not living in the city forever?
I definitely think I could live in the city again.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You seem to be able to adjust pretty easily, right?
Definitely.
Because you lived in a city, Altadena, and you were always able to go spend time outside away from all that, and then you were able to move up here without a hiccup. So that's pretty cool. But I want to circle back to you starting My Humboldt Abode. You said you were at this Redway beach, and you saw bungalows and condos, or
So when I was 22, when I first moved up here, I went to Redway Beach, and the lane that everyone parks down, that's the property that I now live and manage.
Really?
Yes. So when I say that it's like love at first sight, when I fall in love with a house and then I get like a crush on it, it's usually an indicator that I'm going to one day have some involvement with that property. And so, yeah, at 22, peering over the fence, looking at the house that I now live in, no way had someone told me that I would have had the opportunity to turn it into a retreat, me coming up, threadbare and just hoping for the best, that I would have the opportunity to now live there. It's been about 3 years since I launched My Humboldt Abode.
And so you bought the property 3 years ago and launched My Humboldt Abode out of that property?
Well, I have a silent partner. And so my current business partner bought the property. And so when I went there to take a look at it a little closer, I was like, no way. You bought Redway Beach and now you want me to be a part of it? Like, absolutely. This was my dream, And so I didn't realize that I had put that request out into the universe over 20 years ago.
So during those 20 years, in your, being in Humboldt, what did that look like? What did that time do to prepare you for that moment of owning Humboldt Abode?
Great question.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in the back country, in the hills. My husband, I'm what's considered a transplant,
What does that mean?
A transplant?
Yeah.
Someone who didn't grow up here but now lives here, and they're pretty
We're
rooted.
We're all transplants.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
transplants, right?
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
to be.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
But no, my husband, he was born and raised here in Humboldt. And so the property that he lives on, we were living on and homesteading. And so most of my time was doing things like that. Homesteading. We were also legacy cannabis farmers and living, at the headwaters of a gorgeous, pristine creek and acres of land and, all kinds of outdoor space.
Okay, so you're getting familiar with the community and the people here, and particularly Southern Humboldt, and you did that connection with the community and getting your feet rooted into Humboldt County help you with launching your business?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when I first moved up here, I had no idea what was going on in those back hills. I started out as a waitress at the Woodrose Cafe, and this was back in the heyday. And so,
Like prime cannabis.
prime.
Yeah, the hill people.
Yeah. And so, I was just, single mom with my kids and just looking to do something. But what I really enjoyed was the fact that people made fast friends, and I was able to network and build my support, and yeah, eventually I was able to launch My Humboldt Abode, but it was, slow progress, kind of like the analogy that I use a lot lately is, the golden spiral. When you're at the beginning of something, you don't always see the changes that are happening because you're in that tight
Yeah.
inner parts of the shell before the next turn, and then it becomes something, much bigger than what you had thought.
Yeah, there's also like hills and valleys, right? Where like you think you're doing good and then you're not, or something like that. Doing good, doing bad, or growing, peak a little bit, and then you're back down in a valley, and then it's just constant for business at least, and maybe for some people's lives too. But while you were in that spiral, the small one, what was the first point where you were like, I'm seeing progress and this is going to work?
I think that I just naturally felt happy, that my outlook was positive, that I wasn't having to deal with the stress of living in the city anymore, that I could kind of relax a little bit more, and that people were willing to share their story and make eye contact with you. In the city, everyone has their horse blinders on, they're just walking to the BART station. They're like, and it's a protective kind of modality, I would think. And me with my, my newborn baby, just like not wanting to look at people. But what I realized in Garberville, you guys think that Eureka Arcade is a small town. Garberville, I live in the fishbowl. You guys live in the aquarium.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a small town. Like Arcata's big.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No stop signs,
That's interesting that you say that, because I feel that same way when I'm in the city or I go back down to SoCal and to the LA area. People are afraid to look at each other. People and it's not the lack of eye contact is just like an example of this bigger sensation of people not wanting to connect. People are like, there has to be like the only way they're going to connect with you is if there's a purpose, right? Everything's transactional. Right. Whereas in Humboldt, you'll connect with somebody because you're both waiting in line at the grocery store. That's all you need. That's the only reason you need to connect with somebody here, is because you happen to be at the same place at the same time. And people will form that connection, and they'll go get a drink after. And, and I really like that, because I find it much easier to connect and be friends with people and make friends in this community. So I really like that observation. Do you feel like people at your retreat do you feel like some of the people that are from the city are trying to escape that hustle and bustle and that intensity of the city? And they're, are there people coming from the city and looking for that, that vacation?
Yeah, the majority of the people who come to My Humboldt Abode are from the Bay Area. We also have some world travelers. We just had some guests come from Germany and China and Japan and Sweden, and but the redwoods are the star. They take center stage, and so I definitely feel that, and I know that for sure when I begin to read my reviews. And that people feel that they're able to relax and recalibrate. They love that I don't have television at any of the rentals. I have vintage typewriters and reading material. And and I pre-build, fires for them in the wood stove and just kind of create an intimate environment for them to reconnect with themselves and with their fellow guests.
So it's completely off grid.
Well, it's on grid. We're in town. We have town power.
Oh, okay.
But I choose not to offer the amenity of television.
Interesting.
But I have a great sound system.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have all like the basic needs and you
Yeah.
have like the modern stuff, but you choose to take out certain things that distract us from the real world and the environment around us. And I really like that. It makes me want to go get it. I'm going to look into bookings down there for the summer. So I want to talk about that. What makes the experience of lodging at My Humboldt Abode different than other traditional lodging?
Well, it is a short-term vacation rental. We are set on 5 private acres of ancient redwood along the pristine shores of the Eel River. And it's very quiet for being right in town. It's different than staying at a hotel because, it's little cabins, little houses. Originally, it was developed in the 1930s as summer homes for some prominent families in Eureka. And so it has that kind of timeless feel. Like the house that I live in was built in 1935. Large, open river rock fireplace, craftsman style home. And so you kind of feel like you've stepped back in time, which is part of the reason that I offer books and typewriters.
And people like that.
Absolutely.
That's why they go.
They're coming because they want to stay someplace that's in nature, someplace that's by the river, someplace that's close to the Avenue of the Giants and the gateway to Shelter Cove and the Lost Coast. So what I've discovered is the majority of the guests who come to stay want to have a bit of a digital detox. And so I create an environment that supports that. Plus, we offer massage, Reiki, spa treatments, and forest bathing.
Most people think they have a content problem. They actually have a clarity problem. In the modern economy, attention is the global currency. AAA Productions helps build repeatable content systems to scale your authority. Connect with us using the links in the description. Thank you, and back to the show. I kind of want to get more into the business aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a time where you were trying to make it work and at a certain point you thought maybe this isn't going to work?
What I have noticed is, so I launched my business 3 years ago. And as you know, there's been a significant downturn in the economy. I feel like I struck gold. I've been incredibly blessed with this property and the success that my business has seen. And so with that, I've achieved top listing in the area on multiple, booking sites.
For like retreat, hospitality stuff. That's instead of like a Holiday Inn or whatever, you're above them for like where to stay.
So if you go on like the third-party booking platforms, it would basically, my listings would be listed to the top. And because of that, I get approached all the time from people who they're like, oh, you've been so successful, you're still in business, you have all these great reviews. I would like to list my house. Is that something that you're interested in? And sometimes I've had to say no because it doesn't match the brand.
Oh, that's a good problem to have, saying no to people.
Or that, their expectations are different than what I can offer. Or I know once walking the property that it's not going to pass inspection. And so as a business person, like to get to your question, yes, there have been times where I've had to, not accept an opportunity because it wasn't a right fit.
I've heard that story a lot with like other YouTubers where, say for example, this completely like has nothing to do with what you're saying, kind of, but like saying no. Say like a finance YouTuber or something gets approached to do $1 million casino, like online betting sponsorship. And a lot of the time they'll say no because that goes against their morals and ethics and like could have their audience turn on them. And like in that case, like if you take that opportunity, yeah, it looks like a lot of money up front, but it comes at the cost of your personal brand. And if you damage that, that's millions more than what you were probably going to get anyways from it, right? So that's really cool that you were able to say no. And another thing, because for us, what we're struggling with right now is figuring out our target market. And it seems like you have nailed your target market perfectly. It's people who just want to come and get a digital detox and relax. And how were you able to find your people?
So I built my website, and with my website, I used, search engine optimization. And so because I am also a massage practitioner, Reiki master, and forest bather, I put all of those things into my website and into the listing so that when people are looking for holistic redwoods, retreat, decompression, recalibration, energetic healing, all of those things are going to guide them to my business and come and stay. So I did, endless hours of work, and I continue to always update my website and my, keywords and that type of thing. But I think that what I asked for is different versions of myself. Let me align with different versions of myself in different people, because I know what I enjoy about being in Humboldt. I know what I enjoy about where I live. And so that's basically what I aimed to showcase, so that it was in alignment with the people who have little parts of me in them, and I have little, parts of myself in them, so that there's that alignment. Does that sit right with you? Do you understand
that makes
what
sense.
I mean? So it's like I wanted to, something I always say is to be your own best company. And so if you're accustomed to being a good guest for yourself, then you can attract and grab the people who have that same energetic blueprint.
I want to talk about the SEO, which is search engine optimization, and more big picture with your approach to marketing. Tell me about your approach to marketing your business. Was that something that was initially outlined as your responsibility when entering the business? And how did you feel about taking on that responsibility?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm happiest when busy, and my silent partner really loves that.
And your silent partner is your business partner, right?
Yeah. So when the LLC purchased the property, and I said, I'm definitely interested in having this as a vacation business and a retreat business and all of those things. As far as the marketing, here's a fun fact. I was playing on words with MyHumboldtAbode. Little did I know that the website for students at what used to be Humboldt State, which is now Cal Poly, is MyHumboldt.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So if you put in MyHumboldt and then the next letter is A, I have top Google listing.
Whoa.
I am first page.
And did you do that intentionally?
No.
But you found out because you're like, okay, so we're both students. With my job here, we're hosted by Cal Poly Humboldt.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out.
And shout out Small Business Development. shout out Cal Poly Humboldt.
Shout out.
Every day at work here, to log into like my email and my stuff, I type in My
Humboldt.
Oh my, and like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I just made that, connection. And so that's got to like do wonders for your
It really does.
online.
It's like the magic wand for my business. And so that's what I'm saying as a surrender practitioner. Ideations, I request the universe to have ideations and ideas to come to me and through me. And so it may not have been my intention to have things, written in that way, but I had that aha moment when I started Googling myself, and I was like, wow, people are either going to find the university or they're going to find me.
Yeah, interesting. So speaking of you being a bed and breakfast and a rental property, you mentioned something about people listing their own houses. Are you like Airbnb in that way, where you can, if somebody fits your criteria, you can list, like I can go and list my house and I can make money off of that too? Like Airbnb takes a cut, like rental properties. Like, do you do that? Do you list rental properties from other people?
Absolutely.
What?
So that's kind of what I was referring to earlier.
Yeah, tell me more.
That the property that I'm on has 3 houses. Okay. So I live in the middle-sized house, and then I have the larger 3-bedroom Craftsman and the smaller apartment available on third-party booking sites or for direct bookings. So because I have like a hustler spirit, like I may be all airy and fairy, but when it comes down to stacking cash, bands.
I love that. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Like I play this little game with the Loomis truck where I do energetic fishing. When I see the money truck, I do energetic fishing and I pull the big stack of money and I plop it and I put it in my back seat. And so like these are the things that I do in order to attract wealth. Like I was at one time I was a bank teller, vault teller, ATM teller. And so I was responsible for every dime in the store. And so anytime we were, preparing money for shipment, I would always give it a hug and I'd say, come back and bring your friends.
Nice.
Because I was really trying to manifest, stacks.
Wait, so how exactly does that work? Because you have 3 properties on there, but can I say my house fit your criteria? Mm-hmm. Can I list my house on your website? And like, is that even a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I can list.
So this is what I was referring to is
Yeah.
People approach me all the time and they're like, Sam, you've done so amazing with your business. Hey, can I add my house to your list of lodging? And I say, yeah, absolutely. Let's enter that conversation. And so what I discovered during that process and the discovery call is what their expectations are, what their needs are, and what the house is like. And to see if, number one, it's a right fit between myself and them, and if the house matches the brand. And so I do have a good amount of pocket listings and people, who want to kind of try it out and just kind of do more word of mouth kind of thing. But I am currently expanding my footprint. My investor is having me shop for properties right now. So that's exciting.
Do you see the tourism, particularly in beautiful southern Humboldt County, do you see tourism increasing? Do you see that market growing in that area?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and we haven't even reached the cap as far as like short-term rentals go.
I'll tell you what, this competition, Startup Humboldt, a lot of the people here are putting up, time and money for the reason that they're passionate about the economic state of our county. With timber and cannabis no longer bringing in the same amount that it used to, we need to find a way to bring money into this county. We need to find something new to provide the world and let the world know something about us, right? And so I'm really passionate about the tourism industry because when my parents come up here, from LA, they love it, because all the reasons that you're talking about, like they're the reasons that they come up here.
Right.
And I think there's this we have these huge population hubs in the Bay and LA, and there's with tons of money, and we could be this really popular tourism destination and offer these cool, unique things. And I think that your business does that. And so I really want to say that I think, you're bringing in thousands of dollars into this county and with not only with My Humboldt Abode, but with all your, rentals. And I think it's really cool what you're doing. I want to ask you, did you ever see when you were going to San Francisco State and you're, at that, at the early stages of your life, did you see yourself becoming this mogul in the Southern Humboldt tourism industry?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I still don't consider myself a mogul.
I think you are at this point.
Yeah, after you sounds like you're
that's a mogul.
I want to truly become a mogul. In fact, to segue to the competition, originally,
she just did your job.
So
I was getting there.
Well, I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm more of a sidekick, a psychic sidekick.
Well, no, he always does the really smooth transitions.
Oh.
That was up next.
I spoiled it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, originally when I started coming to the shindigs in the fall, originally a couple of my ideas for the competition were tourism based because I'm in the tourism industry, and I had thought, I could just, keep playing with what I'm doing, and that would be, advantageous for growing my vacation rental business. But I couldn't wrap my head around, how do I make that scalable?
Totally.
How do I make that creating jobs, creating infrastructure? And so I had to sit with it and kind of think, what is Humboldt best known for? And I thought, just how remote we are. What else are we known for? People living off grid. What else are we known for? Resilience. What else are we known for? Innovation. How many times when I was out on the hill, I had to craft something because I absolutely needed it, so that innovative spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit. And so I went home and I thought, okay, I don't know if I could really build a tourism business that's scalable. What do I absolutely love? And I thought, okay, I love houses. So I meditated and I thought, okay, I love houses. What else do I absolutely love? And I'm like, I love lights. I love lighting. I love vault lights. Do you know what vault lights are?
No.
Okay, I'm a little obsessed with them.
Explain them.
Okay, so growing up in Pasadena, in the sidewalk, they have these pieces of glass in the sidewalk.
I think I know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah. That 100 years ago, it was how they could get natural sunlight to come down and go into the cellar to illuminate the spaces, to bring ambient light down into the vaults.
Oh, kind of like a skylight, kind of like up there and stuff like that.
Yeah, but for the sidewalks. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I could make a pavement light. And I thought more about that. And then I shared that thought with my family, and they said, well, how can you make your light different than everyone else's light? And so I started thinking, and I thought, gosh, if it could be a dual purpose light that also lets you know if there was an emergency, then it could be something that was utilized in city streets, schools, that type of thing. And so that's my venture that is now, part of the contest, is my newest venture, which is Via del Sol, Path of the Sun. You learned about that one just the other day with your sunburn, right?
Oh yeah.
The Path of the Sun.
Yeah.
So through this process and the ideation of I love houses, I love lights, came the birth of Via del Sol, which are dual purpose emergency alert system lights. And I'm so happy to say that I just received a letter of intent from College of the Redwoods for my pilot program.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
So we're hoping that we'll have the opportunity to keep our heads and make it to the final pitch round so that we can share this idea with potential investors so that we can, build our first prototypes, because we're pre-seed, we're in concept mode, so that we can build our prototypes and have the capital in order to install the pavement light system, because it's also for tsunami-prone areas, wildfires, shelter-in-place orders. Like, that was one of the things that when I was talking to my family, like, if I made a pavement light company that was completely off-grid, solar-powered, and satellite-connected, what functions should it have? And the first thing that my son said, well, if you're putting them at schools, he's 15, they should have a shelter-in-place alert for active shooters.
Yeah, as scary as it is, active shooters on campuses are becoming more and more prevalent. And would the lights would they change colors? Would they make a sound? Okay, so like red would be
wildfire.
Yeah.
Blue is tsunami. Orange, black, orange is shelter in place. And we are looking at adding a sound element in order for there to be, that continuity of an alarm. So that
can change the game.
This is futuristic. I mean, this is what I think, the future looks like, is, these like technological advancements to improve our way of life, as not only in Humboldt County, but in, at a national or even global scale, is, I forgot what it was. It was like a you're gonna have to forgive me for nerding out here. It's like a Justice League DC universe, and they have exactly what you're saying.
Oh, really?
Right? Like, if it's like it was like this city, and they had these, lights that went off when the chaos was happening, right?
Right.
And so, we don't have that in today's society, but it would be nice to have that, because, when there is, something like that, an emergency happening, it would be nice to be notified on the spot without looking at your phone. True. So, I think that's a really strong competition idea. I think that it has serious potential to be implemented in the next, few decades, because I think that, as we move forward, we're going to see a more futuristic society, and things like that are going to be put in place.
Yeah. And through my research, what I discovered is, growing up in Altadena, talking to my friends who lived through the Eaton fire, a lot of them never even got an emergency alert. Whoa. And through my research of this, venture, so many people who have smartphones in these situations, the emergency alert systems failed. They didn't ever get an evacuation alert because the grid goes down, the cell towers go down, the internet goes down. So all of the infrastructure that you would need to know that there is imminent danger aren't there to alert you.
Are you interested in starting a small business? We've had the opportunity to interview dozens of local entrepreneurs behind the Redwood Curtain. You can reach out to your local small business development center to receive free one-on-one advising today. Back to the show.
We just had a disaster preparedness workshop here at Startup Humboldt, hosted by the Small Business Development Center, and partnered with lots of other organizations. we can connect you with some, if someone hasn't done this already, connect you with some of the resources, with the disaster preparedness in the area. There's a few other, nonprofits and other government organizations that do that. And so, yeah, that's a big reason. We like to be able to connect people, and it's great that you were able to, use us as a resource.
Yeah, you should definitely reach out to the people who helped them organize the event, like the fire marshal and stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That would be good, because if one of your features is for fires, like maybe you should talk to them about, like once you start getting that implemented and rolling out the product, like talk to them about, maybe you teach them how to teach other people awareness and like how to use these properly or something. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, part of the pilot program of the intended pilot program at College of the Redwoods has a behavioral study and how our alert system, when utilized, so we can track data of how the students respond to the different color-coded alerts, because, they are right on the edge of the tsunami zone. And so they were redesignated, I want to say, in 2022. And so, yeah, definitely part of that is getting the data to know how the populations that are affected will react to a new strategy, a new infrastructure, so that it can hopefully become universal. Like, I went to the workshop selling to the state of California. And when I was talking to some representatives for the state about my patent pending idea and creation, they were all about it, especially the high speed rail people. They're like, oh my gosh, yes, once your prototypes are built, we are definitely interested. We could see that throughout all of the high speed rail, all the parking lots and surrounding areas. Like, we're going to need redundant infrastructure because not everyone has a cell phone. Like, my friend in Altadena, when I was interviewing her and getting interviews from people who survived the Eden fire, she said, number one, you would have to have a smartphone. You would have to have the app that tells you, what's going on. And you have to have the ability to read a map to know, are you affected or not? And so I wanted something that was just like super plain and simple,
That's what I would go with, something plain and simple. My brother and my dad, they down in SoCal, they like to hike in the backwoods behind where we live. We're the same way. We live like in a city, but like we like to just escape into the wilderness, right behind our house whenever we can. And so, but I always think like, man, like there's so many fires down there, and like my family's just out like hiking, and like we're always just like, oh, we'll be fine, but like it would be nice if there was, some sort of light alerts, every, I don't know, quarter mile or something, that would like let you know and be like, hey, like there's a wildfire, like, and you need to like get out of here. And when you're back there, and, those are the most likely places for wildfires, these, in the hills and the mountains, and these really dry places in SoCal. And then also you're in a location that doesn't have cell reception.
Precisely.
So the exact places where you would get hit by a fire are the places where you don't have cell reception, right, which happen to be the same places that my dad and my brother hike. And so, I'm like, you talking about it, I'm like, man, it would be nice if they just, just like a little wood post, every so often, and it just has a light on it, and and so I think, there's a huge benefit to, your business idea.
Yeah, and we're in conversation with the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, and the Lost Coast Trail. I'm hoping to get another letter from them by the time deliverables are ready, because we've been in conversation with them. But when I told them about this system being off-grid and satellite powered, they said, wow, this is a solution to a problem that has existed for us ever since people have been wanting to come out to the Lost Coast Trail, where there is no cell phone coverage, where it is a tsunami prone area, where there is the potential for wildfire, and so they are very interested in this product. And so we're hoping to, get them on the pilot program as well.
Yeah. What was I going to ask? How are you going to roll it out over time? Like, what's a realistic timeline for this to be like implemented, and like, how is it profitable, or like all of the logistics about running and starting a new business?
Right. Let me open up my 3-phase financial statement.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, let's
Oh
hear it.
my gosh.
That thing is a nightmare. Yeah.
Seriously, it's so good that you're asking this question, because it's good for me to answer it.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to hear some financials if that's
for
possible.
sure.
Yeah.
So our intention is, once we receive the seed money, God willing, if Creator and the powers that be want to see a system like this be implemented, because it's been discovered.
Yep.
Right? If the powers that be would like to see this implemented, our projections are for 6 systems of pilots in collaboration with College of the Redwoods, we hope BLM, and then one other entity. And so during that would be in year 2. I really wish that I just had my computer in front of me, because it's so much easier to just pull up everything. And so really the first year is getting everything dialed as far as the infrastructure of the product, the prototypes, the full patenting, the software, because we're not just selling a light, we're also selling the connectivity to its ability to alert you. So, hardware is the handshake and the SaaS is the relationship, right? So the scalability is huge. Like when I put this into my my model maker and talked to my my controller for the company, he said, compliance is a huge issue, and having a color-coded system for people who are deaf and hearing impaired.
Oh.
That is a huge thing.
Whoa.
Because, sirens, if you're hard of hearing or deaf, you're not going to hear a siren. You're not going to have the same access to an alert system. And so when I ran this through my my soon-to-be CFO, Ivy League grad, Wharton School of Business, UCLA management. I have a great team. He said, Sam, this is going to break through no matter what. Like, we will find you the funding. He's been in the startup world for some time. And so he said, yeah, compliance is a huge thing right now, especially in institutions. And because it is an emergency alert infrastructure, there's opportunities for FEMA hazard mitigation grants for the user to cut the cost down 75%. So yeah, we're looking to build a sustainable model, but we still have that fresh car scent, like we're.
Yeah. What's the financial outlook looking like? Like, how much do you have to raise? How much would your first run of inventory cost? Your overhead, like what's all that looking like?
That is an extremely detailed conversation.
Okay.
I would say.
What are some rough figures?
So looking at my 3-phase financial model, it looks like I'm going to have to raise, $200,000 in the first year, $150 in the second, and then $400 in year 3.
Why did it dip and then go back up?
Because of
Scale?
Yeah, like most startups, the first 3 years you are, investing in the systems. And then we see profitability, I believe, around year 5, and would go into the millions by year 6, and then 4 million by year 10. And then that 4 million at year 10, half of it is hardware and half of it is the software. And so that's Series A. If I were to stay on board, God willing, a Series B would see scalability into, I want to say, like 20 million. But it's when I talked to my team about this, they said, it's always best to have a conservative approach. You don't want to tout, how amazing things could potentially be unless you can deliver those things. And so I'm wanting to remain realistic. I had an excellent advising session by one of the members of the advisors, the supplementary advisors. There was such a strong pushback that I changed everything after the conversation with them.
Also, by the way, some valuable resources / people you can go to is Evan Van Auken. He runs Scorchmarker. He invented his own product. So like stuff like that, he can help you kind of like figure out and help you market it and stuff like that. He's a genius. And then SK Lee. Do you know SK Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there at the class where she was teaching about AI. You should talk to her too about investment because it has some tech involved, right? She mainly involves in tech startups. So maybe you should have a conversation with her and see what that would look like.
Yeah, actually, I did have a brief conversation with her.
There you go.
But my understanding is, as someone who's still in the running for the contest, I'm not able to advise her until afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely, calling her, Monday, April 27th.
Yeah.
I think
Regardless of, how things go.
Yeah, because even after like the competition, like you can always still find investors. And I'm sure like even if you do win or lose, you can just go and talk to investors. It's not the end of the world. So
Yeah. I'm just, it's been a little bit difficult for me because, I'm used to manifesting things through a surrender practice. And so this type of manifestation is, a hustle.
yeah.
totally.
And like, having very concrete goals and aspirations and being able to, show your ability to execute your vision. And so it's like painting with my opposite hand and getting ambidextrous because, I've always gravitated towards the healing arts and doing things that are service-based. And so to have something that is challenging and is, forcing me to do things in a way that is, extremely finite and concrete, it's been building the neuroplasticity in my head. Like I can feel it. Like some nights I don't even sleep. I just think of what I need to do next. Like it's triggering, like fire the mind.
I love it. I think that's the reason why we're doing this is we want to inspire entrepreneurship with people who have great ideas. So I do business advising here. I come in to sit down at this very desk with people, small business owners all over Humboldt County, and we talk about their business, and I try to help them in any way I can. With my business advising, I have some general questions that come up very frequently, and questions that I think are able to give good perspective on any business of any kind.
Before we wrap up here, I want to get into a true or false rapid fire round. This is our, I guess, signature segment on the podcast.
Yes. Let's do it.
So it's a series of 5 questions or 5 statements. You're going to say true or false, or you can skip and we can go and touch back on it if any of these bring up something that you want to touch back on. All right. First one. People come to Humboldt to escape something.
False.
The Redwoods have a real impact on your mental health.
True.
Humboldt runs at a completely different pace than the rest of the world.
True.
The local art scene is underrated.
True.
Living in Humboldt forces you to reconnect with yourself.
Absolutely true.
Okay.
That's why I said false to the first one.
Okay,
Okay,
I like
interesting.
that.
I don't think they're running from something. I think they're trying to discover something within themselves.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about that. Why did you say false to the first one? Was it because people come here to reconnect?
I think so. I think people, they need the distractions that are considered acceptable in most circles to kind of fall away. They need to be in a place that supports them to go within and have some quiet and some solitude. I think in order for them to take a deeper look at what their true needs are.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
I always used to question myself, like, am I coming to Humboldt to escape my life in Ventura County or to chase my life in Humboldt? And really, with anybody transitioning, moving to a new place, you maybe you're asking that question, right? Am I moving to chase the current location that I'm going to, or am I moving to escape the world that I'm leaving behind? And looking back, maybe it was a little bit of both. So it'd be interesting to do a survey, though, for people coming to Humboldt from out of the area, being like, did you come here to escape something from where you're coming from or chase something here where you are?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's just a matter of perspective then.
Yeah. Well, Samantha, Swami, we appreciate you, and we want to thank you for joining us today. It was fun, and hope to maybe have you on again someday.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Luke. I hope that you can both come to visit me at my Humboldt abode, come down for the ribbon cutting, and maybe just a swim.
Yeah. Awesome.
For
All
sure.
right.